You know that feeling. Like you're
Yeah.
constantly getting swept along by thoughts, demands, just the sheer pace of things.
Oh, absolutely. Yesterday's stuff, tomorrow's list, phone's buzzing.
Yeah, it's so easy to feel like you're just running on autopilot, right? Especially now, everything's so connected.
Totally. That sense of being pulled around, kind of disconnected from now. It's incredibly common.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, is there some way to find an anchor,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
all that chaos?
Yeah.
Some way to navigate life with a bit more calm, maybe, more clarity, and just a stronger sense of, well, yourself.
Well, the source material we're looking at today definitely suggests there is, and it frames it not as some mystical thing, but as a really simple, practical skill.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into, mindfulness. But we're not just doing mindfulness 101 here.
Right.
Our mission is to really unpack the core ideas from this material you've given us on finding your inner anchor through mindfulness. We want to get what this source says mindfulness is, how it suggests we can, build this skill, and the benefits it talks about, especially that big one, really boosting self-awareness.
Okay, let's dig in, because lots of people have heard the word mindfulness, but this material gets pretty specific about what it actually is.
So how does it define it? What's the core idea here?
It really emphasizes paying attention intentionally
Yeah.
to the present moment. So your thoughts, your feelings, sensations in your body, what's going on around you.
Okay.
And here's the crucial part. Doing it without judgment. It's about kind of waking up to life as it's actually happening right now.
Right. And I think one thing people get stuck on, maybe folks who've even tried it, is this idea that you have to stop your thoughts, empty the mind. Does the source touch on that?
It does, yeah, very clearly.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge misconception. The material really stresses mindfulness is not about stopping thoughts or achieving some blank mental state.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because that sounds impossible.
It kind of is. The mind thinks that's what it does. The practice, as this source describes it, is more about noticing the thoughts, seeing them without getting totally carried away, observing feelings without being overwhelmed, connecting with your senses, just letting things be as they are.
Okay, so if your mind's still going to wander, and it's just about noticing, why bother? What's the big sell? What's the value proposition the source puts forward?
It makes a strong case, especially for today's world. It highlights a few key things that really push back against that feeling adrift. One big one is countering that autopilot mode.
Right, where you're lost in the past or worrying about the future.
Exactly. The source basically argues we spend so much time there, we miss what's happening right now. Mindfulness is presented as the tool to gently bring us back.
Okay, bringing us back. What else?
Stress reduction is another major point, and it's not just, oh, you'll feel calmer. It suggests that by observing stressors without that immediate harsh judgment, you create a little bit of space between the thing happening and your reaction to it. And in that space, you can actually choose how to respond instead of just, automatically freaking out.
Creating space. I like that. That
Yeah.
feels important. And then you mentioned self-awareness earlier.
Yes, and this is huge in the source material. It compares mindfulness to holding up a gentle mirror to your inner world.
Okay.
It lets you start seeing your own mental habits, your emotional triggers, those ingrained thought patterns, how you typically react emotionally, but seeing them as they happen.
So you start to see the internal machinery working.
Precisely. And the source is really clear on this. Getting that honest, non-judgmental look at your inner landscape. That's the absolute first essential step if you want to make any real positive changes. You can't change what you don't see.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So how do we actually do it? How do you fit this into a busy life?
Right, the practical side. And the source really emphasizes that practice isn't limited to some special cushion or quiet room. It can happen anywhere, anytime.
That's good to hear.
And crucially, especially when you're starting, consistency is way more important than duration. Even tiny bits add up.
Okay, lay it on us.
Yeah.
What does the source suggest for actually getting started?
It breaks it down into formal and informal practices. Formal is when you deliberately set aside time, even if it's short. And the cornerstone, the foundation it highlights, is mindful breathing. It calls the breath your anchor.
The breath. Simple enough.
Yeah. The instructions are straightforward. Find a comfy seat, maybe close your eyes or just lower your gaze softly. Then bring your attention to the physical feeling of breathing.
There is feeling it.
Just feeling it, coming in through the nose or mouth, filling the lungs, going out. And the source stresses not trying to control it. Just observe its natural rhythm.
But what about when your mind wanders off? Because it's definitely will.
Yeah.
To the grocery list or that email.
Yes, that's actually the core of the training, according to this material.
Yeah.
When you notice your mind has drifted, and it will, that's guaranteed. You just gently acknowledge it.
No beating yourself up.
No, none of that. No frustration. You might silently say thinking or planning. Then, just as gently, you guide your attention back to the feeling of the breath. The practice isn't staying focused perfectly. It's the repeated, gentle act of returning.
Returning. Okay.
And it suggests starting really small, like just 1 to 5 minutes. Seriously.
1 minute. Okay. That feels doable for almost anyone. What other formal practices does it mention?
The other main one is the body scan meditation. The source describes lying down comfortably and then slowly, sequentially, bringing your awareness to different parts of your body.
Like toe to head.
Exactly, from your toes up to the crown of your head. And as you focus on each part, your foot, your knee, your shoulder, you just notice any sensations there. Tingling, warmth, tightness, maybe nothing at all. Again, no judgment, just noticing.
And what does that do?
The source says it's fantastic for building body awareness, really connecting you to your physical self, and it can be deeply relaxing and grounding.
Okay, so those are things you set aside time for, but you said the source also talks about weaving it into the day.
Absolutely. That's a huge emphasis. It argues mindfulness isn't just a sit down and do it thing. It's a way of living you can cultivate in totally ordinary moments. These are the informal practices.
Okay, examples? What kind of everyday stuff?
Well, mindful eating is a big one. Really using your senses when you eat. Noticing the smell, the texture, the colors, the actual sensations of chewing, swallowing.
Instead of just inhaling lunch at your desk.
Precisely. The material suggests things like actually putting your fork down between bites, just to slow down and taste. It gives examples like savoring a favorite Filipino dish, or even just a simple cup of coffee, how mindfulness transforms those moments.
Yeah, I can see that. Making it more of an experience.
Exactly. Another one is mindful walking, paying attention to the physical act of walking, the feeling of your feet on the ground, the movement in your body.
Not just thinking about where you're going.
Right. Or being lost in thought. Also noticing the sights, the sounds around you.
Right.
The source mentions walking somewhere beautiful, like the coast of Massenloch, but also says you can do it just walking down a busy street. It's about being there for the walk itself.
Okay. What about chores? Can you be mindful watching dishes?
Definitely. The source highlights mindful chores, taking routine tasks, washing dishes, brushing teeth, making the bed, and bringing full awareness to them. Noticing the sensory details, the warm water, the smell of the soap, the movement of your hands. It's about finding presence in the mundane.
I like that, turning chores into practice.
Doesn't sound so bad then, right? They also suggest single tasking. You know, in our world that pushes multitasking constantly, the source says deliberately focusing your full attention on just one thing at a time is a really powerful mindfulness practice.
Wow, yeah, that feels almost radical these days.
It kind of is. And mindful listening is another really important one mentioned. When someone else is talking, truly listening, giving them your complete attention.
Not just waiting for your turn to talk or planning your response.
Exactly, not letting your mind drift off. The material points out how this can seriously deepen connections and improve relationships because you're actually present with the other person.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that.
And finally, for those moments when things feel stressful or overwhelming, the source offers a quick little tool called the STOP technique.
Ooh, okay. STOP, what's that stand for?
It's a simple acronym, a quick reset button. S is for stop. Just pause whatever you're doing for a moment.
Okay, stop.
T is take a breath. Bring your awareness to just 1 or 2 breaths. Feel the breath.
Oh, yeah, take a breath.
O is observe. Briefly notice what's going on inside you. Thoughts, feelings, body sensations. No need to analyze, just observe what's here right now.
Observe, okay.
And P is proceed. Continue with whatever you were doing, but hopefully with a little more awareness, a little more intention, thanks to that brief pause.
Stop. Take a breath. Observe. Proceed. Wow, that sounds like a really practical little lifeline for intense moments.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's presented. A micro practice you can deploy anytime, anywhere to step out of that reactive autopilot. The source also shares some really good tips for starting out.
Yeah, what's the key advice there?
First, and this is really emphasized, be kind to yourself. Mindfulness is framed as a practice, not a test you can pass or fail.
That's crucial.
Totally. There's no perfect way. The material actually says if your mind wanders 100 times in 5 minutes, the practice wasn't the wandering. The practice was the 100 times you gently noticed and brought your attention back.
So the wandering isn't failure, it's the opportunity.
Exactly. It encourages reframing it like that. Wandering is the chance to practice returning. Second tip, start small, like really small. It repeats that even 1 minute of mindful breathing is beneficial. Don't wait for the perfect hour. Start with what's actually manageable right now.
Consistency over grand gestures.
Precisely. Which leads to the third tip, consistency over length. Doing a few minutes every day is presented as much more effective for building the skill and seeing results than doing, say, an hour once a week. It's about building a habit, like strengthening any muscle.
Yeah, it does sound like building a muscle, an attention and awareness muscle. So speaking of results, what does the source say actually happens when you practice consistently? What are the benefits it lays out?
It lists quite a few, arguing they're backed by both science and experience and that they genuinely make life better. Beyond just feeling calmer, it gets specific. We already touched on stress reduction. It mentions regulating the body's actual stress response.
So it's physiological too, not just mental.
That's the claim, yes. It also points to improved focus and attention. The idea is that practicing focusing deliberately strengthens your ability to concentrate, like targeted training.
Makes sense. You're literally practicing paying attention.
Right. Then there's enhanced emotional regulation. The source explains that by observing emotions without judging them harshly, you become less likely to get swept away by difficult feelings. You learn to recognize them without needing to react impulsively.
That sounds incredibly useful. Seeing the feeling without being the feeling.
Exactly. And back to that core idea, increased self-awareness. Just gaining much clearer, deeper insights into your own mind patterns, motivations, reactions. The material also connects practice to reduced rumination and anxiety, helping you step off that hamster wheel of worry.
Getting out of those loops, that would be huge for a lot of people.
For sure. It also mentions potential for better sleep quality, suggesting a calmer mind naturally sleeps better. And it talks about fostering greater compassion and empathy.
How so?
Well, by learning to observe your own thoughts and feelings with non-judgmental kindness, it becomes easier to extend that same understanding and kindness to others. You see your own struggles more clearly, maybe makes you more understanding of theirs.
That makes sense. Seeing our shared humanity a bit more.
Exactly. And finally, the source wraps these benefits up by talking about an increased overall well-being and contentment. Kind of a deeper appreciation for life as it actually is, rather than always chasing how you think it should be.
Wow. Okay. That's a pretty compelling list of outcomes. Covers a lot of ground. Mental, emotional, even physical.
It really speaks to how fundamental training our attention and awareness can be.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the main takeaway? What's the final thought the source material really wants to leave us with?
I think the way it frames mindfulness as an invitation to the present moment is really key.
An invitation. Yeah, that sounds much less intimidating than like a discipline.
It does, doesn't it? And it's presented as this gentle but really powerful tool, something to help you navigate life's inevitable bumps and complexities with a bit more ease, maybe some more wisdom, and a more open heart.
You don't need anything special to start.
Nothing at all. The source underscores that. Just your own breath and the willingness to pay attention. The invitation really is just to start today, even if it's just one mindful breath. And just notice. See what subtle shifts might begin.
And that leads perfectly into the final provocative thought our source leaves us with. Something for all of you listening to consider. What if the peace, the clarity, that anchor you're searching for, isn't somewhere else, isn't something you need to achieve? What if it's actually much closer than you think, waiting quietly right here, in the simple awareness of this present moment?